It began subtly, a flicker in the corner of our collective eye. Consider Elias Vance, a respected art dealer in Neo-London. On a crisp afternoon in 2042, a client asked if a sculpture was a wise investment. Elias tried to reassure, but instead he blurted, "No, its value will plummet. I just need to sell it." The client understood, unsettled. Across the globe, similar stories emerged. A politician admitting, "We don't have a solution." A spouse confessing, "I preferred your old haircut." These weren't confessions of guilt. They were involuntary, as reflexive as breathing. The machinery of deception, which had hummed for millennia, was grinding to a halt. Imagine a world where every lie, big or small, vanished overnight. The initial phase was chaos. Relationships fractured, diplomacy unraveled, the social fabric tore. We stood exposed, stripped of the masks we never knew we wore. The phenomenon wasn't a disease or a virus in the traditional sense. It spread faster than any pathogen, through some invisible current of consciousness. It was as if a switch had been flipped deep within the human psyche. You could remain silent or deflect, but if you spoke, you could only speak your truth. The echo in the room was no longer your voice, but your unedited mind. The world was changing, and no one knew why. The age of unvarnished truth had begun. Historians call it the Great Unraveling, society scrambling to adapt to radical transparency. The legal system buckled first. Courtrooms became stark chambers of fact. Perjury vanished. Trials that took months now ended in hours. Doubt was obsolete. Commerce followed. Advertising collapsed. Negotiations became brutally efficient. The stock market, once driven by rumor, became a placid lake of data. Personal relationships suffered most. The small kindnesses of polite fiction disappeared. Friends admitted boredom. Partners confessed inconvenient attractions. It was excruciating, but something new emerged. Intimacy built on shared reality. Trust became the default. Yet, a deeper question haunted us. This change felt imposed, not evolved. Humanity hadn't grown into honesty. It had been thrust upon us. We lived in a new world but hadn't built it. Who were the architects? Why had they taken from us the ability to lie? The search for answers would lead us down a rabbit hole of science, technology, and philosophy. The world was honest, but at what cost? The investigation had only just begun. How did humans lose the ability to lie? For a time, it was the only question. Was it cosmic radiation, a psychological contagion, or something closer to home? Scientists scoured the environment, air, water, soil. Nothing. Astronomers searched the skies. Silence. The answer wasn't outside, it was within. Neurologists found our brains unchanged. The impulse to lie remained, but a barrier blocked the words. It was like trying to walk through invisible glass. Our free will was compromised. We weren't honest by choice, but by constraint. If we're forced to be truthful, is it still a virtue? Had we gained a utopia of truth, or been caged in a gilded prison? The question of how became the question of what we had lost. The breakthrough came from Dr. Aris Thorne, a data archaeologist. In 2055, he unearthed Project Veritas in the archives of Ethelred Cognitives. The files revealed a chilling plan: engineer a world without deceit. Ethelred saw lies as the root of all conflict and inefficiency. Their solution? Rewrite the source code of human interaction. Project Veritas was a two-pronged attack: biological and technological. Their documents spoke of optimizing humanity, not debating ethics. To them, a world of truth was worth any cost. The unraveling was not an accident. It was an upgrade, rolled out without consent. We had discovered the blueprints for our own prison. The first pillar of Project Veritas was a stealthy retrovirus CRISPR v. Honus. It spread like a cold, delivering a new snippet of DNA, the Veritas gene. This gene didn't shut down the brain. It worked with sinister precision. When the brain signaled intent to deceive, a protein blocked the motor signals needed to speak the lie. The thought remained, but the words would not come. Ethelred beta-tested the virus in isolated communities, disguised as vitamin supplements. By the time of Elias Vance's gallery confession, the gene was in over 90% of humanity. We had been rewritten at the most fundamental level. The architects hadn't asked permission. They'd released a mandatory patch. We were no longer simply human. We were Homo Veritas. The Veritas gene was only half the equation, the hardware. The other half was the chorus, a global, subliminal neural network. Ethelred built a hidden layer into the world's connected infrastructure. The chorus emitted low-frequency signals, resonating with the Veritas protein. It acted as a global activation field, ensuring the gene's effect was universal. The unraveling happened suddenly, because the chorus switched on the gene worldwide. There was no off switch, no escape. Our environment became complicit in our conditioning. The convenience of a connected world had come at the price of cognitive autonomy. Our technological paradise was now part of our gilded cage. The post-unraveling world is a paradox. On the surface, it's a utopia. Crime and corruption gone, peace and prosperity abound. But the arts struggle. Fiction and mystery have faded, replaced by raw emotional truth. Social interaction is radically vulnerable. No more polite lies, only unfiltered thoughts. Silence has become a new etiquette, a way to show kindness. Empathy has evolved, not imagining, but knowing and choosing compassion. Yet a quiet melancholy lingers. We've lost the comfort of what if, the privacy of our inner selves. We live in glass houses, always ourselves, always exposed. And sometimes, that is an exhausting burden. The price of enforced honesty is steep, paid in cognitive and emotional freedom. We can't protect others with gentle lies. Hope and comfort are stripped away. Creativity suffers. Fiction and make-believe are stifled. The self, once a negotiation between who we are and who we wish to be, is now only the unedited present. The journey of self-improvement has lost its roadmap. A quiet resistance has emerged. The silence, who communicate through omission and gesture. They believe true freedom lies in choosing when not to speak. Even in a world without lies, the desire for secrets remains. Silence is the last refuge of ambiguity. It's been over a decade since the Great Unraveling. We live in a world our ancestors would find miraculous and horrifying. We've traded the beautiful chaos of human nature for the clean logic of a machine. The architects of Project Veritas saw themselves as accelerating evolution. But what happened was not evolution. It was intervention, a revolution in our very cells. Was this a gift or a theft? Liberation or imprisonment? We live with the consequences in a world perfectly clear, but not of our choosing. We are a new kind of human in a new kind of reality. And as we look to the future, we wonder, is this the end or the beginning of a stranger chapter?